you once again. This is your favorite host of Marriage Lesson 316, Jesse Lonon Eziako, powered by Marriage Discovery International. Welcome you to the part 2 of Marriage Inside the Boss. In part 1, I will quickly give you a fast recap. In part 1, I said that marriage inside the boss is a concept, is an idea that I use to describe the conventional and adopted pattern of living among couples that does not offer them any form of comfort, but just because they refuse to change, they refuse to think differently from what they were indoctrinated or what they were taught or what they saw from their background. That is what is killing them. And I remember telling you also, quoting Bishop Humphrey Orimaka in part 1, where he said that marriage is a life contract, but the absence of submission and respect and understanding will breach the contract. So in this part 2, I want to give you some kind of inside the boss mentality that you must be aware of and you must never allow. And in case you're already married and you have seen this or you are experiencing this, I want you to know that it will ruin and it will kill your marriage. You better drop it. You better kill it before it kills that marriage. Number 1 is what I call the boss and the staff. The boss and the staff. The Bible said in Genesis chapter 2, verse 24 and 25, it said they were both naked, but they were not ashamed. They were both naked, but they were not ashamed. There is no transparency. If you understand that where there is a boss and a staff, it is what the boss wants the staff to know that they know. The boss is not obligated. The boss is not under any compulsion to tell everything that happens, to make the staff to know everything about the company. It is what they present to the staffs that the staffs know. And so many important factors and so many important information are often being hidden from the staff. And this is the kind of thing we see in marriage. There is no transparency. In any marriage where there is no transparency, in any marriage where there is secrecy, in any marriage where one partner is not telling the whole truth, is not allowing his partner to know everything about him or her, that is the boss and the staff mentality, and it is not good for marriage. The boss and staff mentality will also know it. There is no effective and efficient communication. In some organization, when the boss is communicating to the staff, he's talking to them, it's not talking with them. There is a different thing that you are talking to and that you are talking with. He's only passing a command, he's only passing an instruction. And most often, it does not give them room to be able to ask questions, even when they are confused, even when they need to be. If I ask question now, I may lose my job. Then they keep that. The fear is there because that of that relationship. So there's also in so many marriage where the wife tells, I tell him what I want him to know. I tell her what I want her to know. Other things I don't tell her. That is why in some banks today, there are so many unclaimed funds, unclaimed accounts. There is so many unclaimed property here and there. I had someone telling me recently, he said, in the estate where I am living for 5 years, our landlord has not come to collect rent. And all the years we have known the man collecting rent, he comes alone. We don't know any wife, we don't know any relative, we don't know any children. And it's possible that the man is gone, the man is no more alive, and the property is there. If such man has let the wife or let the children or let any of the family member know that I have this and that, it will not be so. So when there is a boss and staff mentality, it is a marriage inside the boss, and it will destroy the boss. You spend hours talking to someone for hours does not mean efficiency and efficacy in communication. You often hear statements like, I married you with my money, so I have right. You don't have right to tell me what to do. You go out at any odd time, you come back when you like, and you say your wife does not have right to ask you, honey, where have you been? Or you go out as a woman because you are the breadwinner, you earn more than your husband, and you say your husband does not have right to ask you, where are you coming from? It's after all, I'm the one who is taking care of you financially. After all, you don't have the money, I have the money. That is the boss and staff mentality. It will not help your marriage. So if you are married and you're experiencing that, and that is how you are running your marriage, I want you to kill that boss and staff mentality, because it will ruin your marriage. Another one is what I call the criminal and the crime mate. The criminal and his or her crime mate. The Bible said in the book of Hebrews chapter 13 verse 4, it said, marriage is honorable, but the bed undefiled. Warmongers, adulterers, fornicators, the Lord will destroy. I have seen people, you started living together as same partners. You are living together not based on marriage proposal. You are living together not because you want to get married, you want to live and make family together. You just because you want to exploit, you want to have pleasure, sexual pleasure, and you started living together, and years along the line, you convert it into marriage. I tell you, what you are going to get is full regret. You are going to get regret, because there are some certain basic things, basic information, basic understanding, basic knowledge that you need to have known about your partner, about that marriage, about the family of the guy, about the family of the girl that you don't have idea, just because you have allowed the pleasure of sex to blindfold your eyes. I stand to tell you that that is what I call a criminal and his crime mate or her crime mate. And at the end of the day, regret is what you are going to get. You will be clouded with pity. I've seen a lady who said, I don't love this guy, but because of the money he has spent for me and my family, I just can't say no to his marriage proposal. And years along the line, the same lady is regretting. And that is also where, under criminal and crime mate, that is why there's so many cheating. So many people cheat on their partner. You married a person because it's not the person your heart yearns for. You are not emotionally compatible. It's just that you are sexually compatible. You are not spiritually compatible. You are not faith compatible just because you are sexually compatible. I tell you, along the line, when your soul is overwhelmed and is desiring for compatibility, there is no way you cannot cheat, except if by then that Christ and the Spirit of God have taken hold of you. Criminal and crime mates kind of marriage is what is responsible for abandonment. I've seen people who abandon their partners, and that is the end of it. And went for a program. After praying, a woman walked up to me, says, "Sir, I want to pray for me." I asked her, "What is the prayer?" He said, "For 7 years, my husband has abandoned me with children and is living with another woman." I asked 1 or 2 questions, but because I don't have much of the time, I pray for her and let her go. There are so many things that are responsible. Even so many of them, you discover that it is as a result of how their foundation was laid that is responsible for that. What you also get in criminal and the crime mate kind of marriage is because that place there was no proper procedure that was observed. You always have third-party interference. This is where you see some mother dictating for their son. You hear a full grown-up man saying to the wife, "My mother say, my sister say, my father say," based on the decision of our house. How can you be married and your family will come first before your wife, or your family will come first before your husband? That is a serious error. And I want you to know, if you are in that, get it. What do you get when you are in the marriage of criminal and his crime mate kind of marriage? You get constant fear and there is no trust. There will never be trust. Many are trapped in a marriage instead of trailing in their marriage because they have refused to think outside the box. They have refused to think about. Before you enter into relationship, think about it. Think properly. Think twice. Why do I want to get into the relationship? Think of tomorrow. It is very, very important. There is another one I call the landlord and the tenant kind of marriage. It's very destructive. How do you know that? No money, no romance. I've often heard some so-called marriage experts said, "No, when there is no money, there will be no romance." It's a lie. Money is important in marriage, but I meant to tell you that the thing that drives marriage effectively is sincere love, not lust, mistaken for marriage. Where there is sincere and genuine love, even in the temporary absence of money, you can still cope. But if money is the basic thing that led you there, a little decrease, a little shaking in your finance, the next person will walk away. So if you're in a marriage of landlord and the tenant, the only business between landlord and tenant is the rent. Once the rent is due, you see the landlord. And anytime the rent is due, and the tenant does not have money, you always see the tenant trying to dodge the landlord. Anytime the landlord calls on phone, he sees the phone rings and he looks at it, it's the landlord. His heart will be shaking. Why? Because the man is only there to ask for his money. That is not God kinds of marriage. Some tell you no money, no sex. I know of a marriage whereby the wife will not get a fulfillment from the husband will not get fulfillment from the wife except she drop money. Are you a harlot? You are not a harlot. No money, no peace, no money, no pleasure, no money, please pack away. In the landlord and tenant kind of marriage, deception is the order of the day. Constant fighting is the order of the day. You hear the wife saying to the husband, even when the wife is any more than the husband, you will hear you are the head, pay the bill. Are you not the head? Pay the bill. It doesn't matter whether the man is dying or not. In landlord and tenant kind of marriage, there is no love. If there is no love, there is no tolerance for each other. This is a serious problem. As I quickly round up, what is the problem responsible for marriage inside the boss kind of marriage? What is the problem responsible for all this kind of negativity in marriage? Number one, I will not break it in detail because I've spoken about it in my previous marriage, in my previous broadcast. Number one is the foundation. The foundation. Foundation is the lifeblood of every marriage, every relationship. If Psalm 11 verse 3 said, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? How you enter the marriage determine what you will get. If you enter through carnality, disrespectful for love, disrespectful for the rule of the game, disrespectful for the rule of engagement, no proper procedure. Many people say they are marrying, but they have not paid a dowry to the people they are marrying their daughter. That is not marriage. That is a faulty foundation. When you are operating without the manufacturer's manual, marriage is God's idea. If you want to get the best of marriage, go through the scripture called the Bible and see how God made marriage to be. Another problem in that, which is also foundation, when you are not teachable. When you are not teachable, every successful marriage is learned. Marriage is a work. Just as so many of us have stick to what we learn from our parents that are not helping our marriage, so also you can learn what is helping other people's marriage. Don't stick to that. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be unto the end. Now lie. Why will you remain like that? You see what you are doing is not helping you. What you are doing is not bringing peace to your home. What you are doing is not bringing progress to your life. What you are doing is not bringing progress to your wife, to your children, and you stick to it. That is how our mother used to do it. That is how our father used to do it. That is how they do it in our culture. If that is how they have been doing it in your culture, because that is what they know to do. Now that you know better, is it helping you? Is it working for you? If you want to have a marriage that will give you success, that will give you joy, that will give you excitement, that will help you to be better than you enter it, it is important you run a marriage outside the box. What is a marriage outside the box? Think, has that marriage been helping you? Think how you are living. Is it the best? If it's not the best, think differently and change. I pray for you that is listening me, that the Lord will give you grace and understanding to hear what I've said and hear it better and do it in a way it will help you. I love you. God bless you. See you some other time.